When people experience the loss of a loved one, it is the most sensitive time of life that anyone could go through, especially depending on the relationship held by such individuals, the living and the dead. For the one who is dead, the African culture teaches that that person is not dead. It's not the end of the journey, that there is actually life after death. The death that occurs is the death of the flesh, but the spirit and the soul still continues to live in an unseen realm. So when people die, they no longer embody the flesh and so cannot be tangible, seen, or approached in the physical realm. The dead who is gone from this earth still continues to live on. And this is where the African tradition teaches that the same respect that was given to that individual or relationship that one had with that individual still continues in a different form. And this is where the pouring of libation comes in. This is where the relationship with the ancestors continues. Like some belief teach that the dead is forgotten, the African tradition teaches that the dead cannot be forgotten. The dead still lives on after this realm to a different dimension. And so when people experience the loss of their loved ones, the level of grief that they go through is different, especially if there's a bonding relationship, a tight connection, a healthy relationship between such group of people before one departs this physical world that we live in. When people lose their loved ones, that's not the time for other people to tell them to forget. Such statement can be received in different levels, which is insensitive of anyone to say to those who are grieving. They are going through emotional and mental pain. They are in a psychological dilemma where at that moment, what they need is comfort. And depending on how deep the pain is, even comfort is not enough for such people who go through deeper level of pain or grief for the loss of their loved ones. Which belief actually teaches people to forget their loved ones or asks them to forget their loved ones? At that moment of grief, and even after the burial of the loved ones, it is not a psychological state that one can easily remove oneself from or disengage oneself from. It's a psychological problem that entails memories, great connection, depending on the level of attachment to that loved one. And relationship. Of course, relationship is one vital element of our daily lives as humans because we are not on our own. So we have relationship with our parents, our siblings, our cousins, our friends, and people that mean the world to us. So when such people suddenly depart our lives from this physical realm of being, it leaves a great vacuum in one's mind and memory. And it's quite difficult to just suddenly forget and move on, which is what part of the modern world teaches us today, emphasizing that if one loses one's loved ones, be it parents or siblings, cousins or friends, after a few months or after a few years is enough for one to forget about it, move on with life, and pretend as though nothing ever happened. Really? Where lies the humanity in this perception of understanding that once our loved ones are dead and gone from this physical world, then we have to completely forget about them, leave the dead for the dead, as though we ourselves living right now physically here on earth won't find ourselves in that position. Everyone is going to leave this world at the end of the day. And in some cases, most of these people who claim that moving on with life or forgetting about the fact that a loved one has just left this world are usually the first to appear in cases whereby the ceremony involved in burying the dead occurs. This set of insensitive people will be there to share in the eating and drinking of the dead. These same people will be there to share in the picking of clothes or attires for the celebration of the dead. These insensitive people will be there for the celebration of the throwing of parties for the dead. And in some cases, even in the medics, as soon as someone dies, part of the question that is asked is, would the loved ones be willing to donate the organs of these dead people? A statement which can be quite insensitive and lack empathy, disrespect towards both the dead and the one who has just lost a loved one. Isn't the loss of loved ones supposed to be a time for reflection, for evolution, and improvement in how we view life generally, knowing fully well that we are all not going to live in the physical realm on this earth forever, but are going to transit to another realm of the unseen. Therefore, does rest in peace of a loved one means forget the dead forever, detach oneself from the dead because they have passed on to another realm? Does it mean the end of a fabulous relationship that one once had with that person who just died? Is it a time to forget all the beautiful relationship that one once had with that person who just passed on? Is it a time to forget about the good memories, the beautiful relationship, the role that person played on one's life, the happy times, the sad times, all the memories? Is that the time to forget completely about that person just because the person is no longer in the physical realm of this earth? Or is it the time to get reconnected with that person in a different realm in order to bring a better understanding to life, to get guidance and connected with that person in the most unusual way ever imagined, which can be transformative of one's physical being here on earth in a positive light, of course, depending on the energy that you carry. Just like the ancient African spirituality teaches, our loved ones who are no longer here on earth in the physical realm are not dead and completely gone. They have entered into another realm of spirituality, of life, and are in continuation of existence. Life does not end when we leave this physical realm, and so our loved ones should not be forgotten like some belief teaches. No, we cannot forget our loved ones. Memories have been built. Relationships have been created. This cannot be forgotten. This lives on. This is the strength that we who remain in the physical realm have to carry, to continue, to help us in our struggles of life, of this physical realm, to live on and to understand life in a much better connection and relationship, depending on the energy that you carry. Do not forget your loved ones. They are living. They are not dead. They are in an entirely different realm. because this is how we find strength to deal with the pain and grief. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Take care now. Bye.